Hi everybody, welcome back to JimSnedekerMusic. This week we want to take a look at lyrics in Musescore. So what I've done here on the right side of the screen, you can tell we're going to actually look at the Musescore handbook. This is really handy. I use it all the time. The only difference between the handbook and not having it is what I'm going to show you today. So we are actually going to step through what the handbook is telling us to do. Okay, so for lyrics, here is our overview, and it's pretty self-explanatory. We're just going to read it. So as you can see in the example above, lyrics are entered syllable by syllable. They're within words, those within words being connected by hyphens. Underscore lines or hyphens, depending on context, are used to indicate melismas. New word. I didn't know that word before I started using Musescore. But a melisma is where a syllable extends over several notes. And they show us a little example. Okay, so here is an example of a melisma right here under the word key. That's a melisma. So to get started, we'll go ahead and notice I have highlighted the note. That was our step one. Then I'm going to Command L on a Mac, Control L on a Windows computer, and I'm going to call this the cat. I press space, what happens? Look at this. We move to the next note. And the cat here jumped. And then what? O. Now, O is under that E note. Ver is going to be under the G. Over the mouse. Today. All right, so we have a couple things here. Over. Look out, those are pretty well jumbled together. The cat jumped over the mouse today. I'm going to go up here and save just because I've learned that that's one of the best things to do. Next, I'll show you how I have made this measure. I'm going to make this measure a little bigger. You see how these words are really jumbled together. The easiest way to do that, so this is more readable, is come up here to Properties, click on Appearance. Now you see this measure width? Right now it's at 1. Drop down, I'm going to make that 1.5. Look back over here. See how much better that looks. So again, that's Properties over here on the left. You go to Properties. First we select our measure. Properties, Appearance, and then that's where I changed it. Now we'll look at what a melisma is. So we have our instructions back from the Musescore handbook. And I'll show you here with the cursor. This is a melisma, this long line. And here are some instructions of how to do that. We're going to press our underscore button key, and it will basically, it'll put this line here for us. Let me show you how to do this. So I'm editing this line, and I press shift and underscore, and again, and now what you have is the completed melisma. We'll go ahead and save that. Here's our completed melisma. Now you notice that I'm ready to key my next syllable for the next lyric. Next, I'd like to show you how we can add a tempo marking in our score. We'll go up here to Tools, Text. I'm sorry, not Tools. We go to Add, and we're going to add text. The text we're going to add is a tempo marking. The tempo marking we're going to get here, you have a palette over here called tempo. Now we are going to select quarter note equals 80, and there it is already for us. If you'd like to change this, let's say you'd rather your tempo be 70. So now I've keyed 70. And the other thing is, I would show you as well over here. You see how it's still 120? And now it's switched to 70. So this is to show you that the player follows the score. You set the tempo again by adding text. The text we're adding is a tempo marking. In order to get to the tempo markings, we want to open our tempo palette. I selected quarter note equals 80, and then I edit it to be 70, and that was reflected up here in our playback bar at the top of the screen. Now I'd like to show you how we enter multiple verses. So this would be our second verse, and we're going to add lyrics to it. So what we do is we come up to our G note here, our first note. We hit Option L. Command L, excuse me. And here you see how our cursor has dropped below the first verse. And now we can type our second verse. The dog helped the cat overcome sleep. And here with our whole note, we have a 4-beat whole note all the way to the first beat of the next measure. Perfect candidate for our melisma. Shift, underline, and there is our melisma on the second verse. Okay, so what we've done there is add another verse. And here's another candidate for a melisma. So I will shift and underline, and there is our second verse.